Hey, what's up? Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. We are going to finish up the legacy of Greece today, learn a little bit more about how ancient Greece has contributed to our modern world. And then on Friday, it's a little bit of an easy day. You're going to have a review game to complete for the ancient Greece test that we'll have on Monday when you come back from spring break. I'll give you the study guide with the answers. So the test is open note and a few videos just to, catch up and sit back and relax a little bit. So let's get on with today's lesson. Oh, wrong button. Like I said earlier, we are continuing on with the legacy of ancient Greece. So today we're going to talk about how and read about how the Greeks contributed to modern math. Any of you doing geometry right now, measuring angles and distance, that is all from the Greeks. We can do that because of what the Greeks learned. Another legacy that ancient Greece left behind was the idea of astronomy. The Greeks are the ones who discovered how the planets move and realized that the Earth is actually moving around the sun and not the other way around. And partly because of their learning in astronomy, they made some great achievements in the geography as well. This is the time that they realized the Earth wasn't flat, and the Earth was actually round. And it was the Greeks who invented the North Pole, the South Pole, and all our longitude and latitude signs that we talk about now. Um, They also contributed to things like the theater, plants and animal knowledge, architecture. We can see examples of architecture on our Capitol in Washington, D.C., the columns that they have. And one big one that I think many of you already know, the Greeks contributed to the idea of the Olympics and us participating in Olympics every 4 years or so. So today's learning target is I can explain how ancient Greece influences current ideas and cultures. If you are watching this video now, kudos to you. That means you are doing the first thing on our agenda. We're going to go back and read the History Alive, Chapter 31, 300 to 303. I'll read that here on the video. And then there are 5 multiple choice questions to complete on your Schoology assignment. So if you go to Schoology and you download the reading for today, it is the one we had yesterday, Chapter 31, The Legacy of Ancient Greece. But we're going to start on page 31, or not 31, 300, where the Greeks contributed to modern mathematics. Remember, if I'm reading too fast or you didn't catch something, pause the video, rewind, go back, listen to it again. You have that control. The Greeks loved reasoning. They looked for logical answers to nature's mysteries. Greek scientists often found those answers in mathematics. One such scientist, Pythagoras, believed that numbers were the key to understanding nature. He started a school where students developed mathematical theories. Like many Greeks, Pythagoras was especially fascinated by geometry. Geometry comes from a Greek word that means to measure land. Geometry began as a system for measuring areas of land. The Egyptians could also measure shapes and spaces, but the Greeks created new and improved methods. Using geometry, they would figure out how much seed to buy for planting a field or how to lay out a city. Another famous Greek mathematician was Euclid. His geometry textbook became the basis for teaching of geometry for more than 2,000 years. Greek culture produced the first woman to earn fame as a mathematician. Hypatia, born in Egypt in about 370 CE, she taught Greek philosophy and mathematics in the city of Alexandria. Greek contributions to modern astronomy. Astronomy comes from the Greek word for star. The Greeks were pioneers in this field as well. People in all civilizations observed the sun, moon, stars, but a Greek scientist named Aristarchus was the first person to suggest that Earth moves around the sun. This idea upset many Greeks who believed the Earth was the center of the universe. Another Greek Hipparchus is often called the great astronomer of the ancient world. He studied and named more than 850 stars. He also figured out how to estimate the distance from Earth to the Sun and the Moon. His theories allowed later scientists to accurately predict eclipses of the Moon. Greek contributions to modern geography. The work of the Greek astronomers also contributed to geography, the study of Earth's surfaces. Geography comes from Greek words meaning writing about the Earth. As astronomers recorded the position of stars, map makers began to locate places on Earth relative to the stars. To describe where places were, they developed a system of longitude and latitude. A great geographer of ancient times was the Greek scientist Ptolemy. He wrote a book called Geography that listed over 8,000 places. His book also contained maps that showed how to represent the curved Earth on the flat surface. Greek contributions to the modern understanding of plants and animals. The Greeks' curiosity led them to study plants and animals. By studying the anatomy or body structure of animals, the Greeks also learned about the human body. This knowledge helped doctors in their medical studies. The Greeks identified many types of plants and named their parts. They learned how plants reproduce by spreading seeds. They also discovered that some plants are useful as medicines. Greek doctors used many plants, especially herbs, to reduce pain and help people heal. The philosopher Aristotle was fascinated by living things. He collected information about many types of animals and plants. Then he organized animals into groups such as those with backbones and those without backbones. He also divided plants into groups such as herbs, shrubs, and trees. The way we classify or group animals and plants today reflects Aristotle's work. Greek contributions to modern architecture. The word architecture comes from a Greek word that means master builder. You read about Greek architecture in the chapter about ancient Athens. You learned how the Greeks used columns to make their temples balanced and stately. You saw examples of pediments, the triangular shapes where roof lines come together, and you studied the decorated bands called friezes. Greek styles are still used in many buildings today. They are especially common in public structures like government buildings, schools, churches, libraries, and museums. But you can also see Greek styles in homes and stores. For example, many houses have covered porches. These porches come from the Greek sto, a covered line of columns. Greek contributions to the modern theater. When you toured Athens, you learned about Greek theater. The word theater comes from a Greek word that means a viewing place. Greek theaters were built as semicircles. The rows of seats rose steeply from the stage so that everyone in the audience could see and hear. These ideas influenced the way theaters are built today. The Greeks even invented special effects. For example, they used hoists to lift actors off the stage and make it seem as if they were flying. They also created scenery that revolved or turned. Revolving the scenery let them quickly change where the action in a play was taking place. But perhaps the greatest Greek contributions to the theater are the stories and plays. Writers throughout the ages have been inspired by Greek myths and stories, and Greek dramas are still performed today all over the world. Greek contributions to modern sports. Many modern sports have their roots in ancient Greece. Their most famous example is the Olympic Games. The first Olympics were held in 776 BCE to honor the Greek god Zeus. Today's Olympics reflect ancient Greek customs. During the opening ceremony, an athlete lights the Olympic flame. This custom comes from the time when the first Olympic athletes lit a fire on the altar of Zeus. Many modern Olympic events grew out of Greek contests. One example is the pentathlon. The pentathlon, is a Greek word that means 5 contests. The Greek pentathlon included the foot race, discus throw, long jump, javelin throw, and wrestling. The Greeks invented the event as a test of all-around athletic skill. Although the 5 contests are different today, the pentathlon is still an Olympic event. Chapter summary. In this chapter, you learned how ancient Greek civilization influences our lives today. We still use Greek words and ideas. Our form of government was invented by the Greeks. So were many ideas used in modern medicine, mathematics, and science. You can see traces of Greek culture in our buildings, theaters, and sporting events. The Greeks were fiercely proud of their independence as a people, but their freedom did not last. In the next unit, you'll learn about the rise of the great power of the Roman Empire. As you'll see, the Romans admired and imitated Greek art and customs. The Greeks spread Greek culture across their vast empire. As a result, Greek ideas lived on long after the Greeks had lost their independence. So if I were you right now, I would pause this video and go into my Schoology and find today's assignment 4-20. We're doing the second half of our assignment from yesterday. There will be multiple choice questions 5-10. I will read each question. You can pause between questions or have it play while you're looking at your Schoology assignment. Question 5. Which of these ideas was the first introduced in ancient Greece? A. Earth moves around the sun. B. The planets affect human lives. C. It is good to study the star patterns. D. The moon seems to change shape. Number 6. How did the philosopher Aristotle affect the modern study of plants and animals? A. He invented a machine for measuring growth. B. He created a system to divide them into groups. C. He discovered the heart pumps blood through the body. Or D. He suggested cutting people open to see how the body works. Number 7. What influence from ancient Greece is visible in this picture of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.? A. The use of columns. B. The honoring of gods. C. The effect of bright lights. Or D. The importance of religion. Number 8. In what way are many theaters today like the ones in ancient Greece? A. The back of the theater is open. B. People pay more for the best seats. C. The stage is built into the side of a hill. Or D. The rows rise so people can see and hear. Number 9. What was the purpose of the first Olympics? A. To honor a Greek god. B. To choose military leaders. C. To decide who would be king. D. To reach the top of Mount Olympus. And number 10. What is the way the modern Olympics are like those of ancient Greece? A. The location. B. An athlete lights a flame. C. Games are held every year. D. Many countries send athletes. Make sure you submit your answer. Feel free to come back to this video at any time. If you need anything, shoot me a message. Stay safe, and I hope everyone's healthy.